Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Unbelievable, man.
What's wrong with you? Drug-free workplace, that's what they say. Okay, keep going, Dan. Let's go.
A brand new Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays begins now.
Wrestling fans, get ready for a weekend of the unpredictable as the Berzerker, John Nord, returns to MWF Studios in Melrose the weekend of Saturday, January the 22nd. Wrestling Insider Throwback Thursday tapings, live episodes, watch-alongs, cyber autograph signings, and more. Boston Wrestling Patreon fans can meet the Berzerker for free. For more information and mail order info, head on over to thebostonwrestling.com super site now. Don't miss the Berzerker, January 22nd. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night. Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, three-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans, welcome to another Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Friday, another big night. WWE was live at Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut. I know you were eager to head down there for that one. An AEW Rampage had another hot night of action. Now as they're beginning to transition Dynamite over to TBS, which is big for them. Hopefully a little bit more visibility for the product. They should get a few more eyeballs almost by default. But Johnny, a lot going on in the world of professional wrestling, but how was your New Year's? I know you and I kicked off 2022 at midnight live, which the fans got a big kick out of. They weren't expecting that.
Nope.
What did you do for New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve was really, really fun.
Yeah.
Moniz and I invited her son, daughter-in-law Anna, their children, Sophie, Rachel, and little Lucy, who just turned 1 on New Year's Day.
January
Eve, whatever.
1st birthday?
Yep,
Wow.
yep. So, and we had my friend Dave and his wife Karen and Sydney and her friend over for not only our New Year, but we also celebrated a Russian New Year, which
a Russian
New Year where Anna is Russian. Her and Tommy are Jewish. They're a great couple. Tommy has La Casa de Chocolat, wonderful chocolate place in Portsmouth and Exeter. Anna's an attorney, and so that night she said, "Don't cook. I'm bringing over Russian food." And of course, you know, Italians, I had to make a chicken wing, I had to make a little, calzone, and we had
Fabovino.
Russian, I tell you, we had puffed turnovers filled with farmer's cheese and dill. We had smoked mackerel. We had potatoes and mushrooms. She made 100 crepes, caviar, sour cream. I have to tell you something. It was an outstanding New Year's. Moniz and I and the crew, Dave and his wife and Sydney had to leave early, but the rest of us, I didn't think this guy or Moniz or Tommy and Anna and the girls would stay awake for it, but we actually watched the ball drop in Times Square. And it didn't drop, it just lit up and then slid, I guess. But it was a great time. And, you know, I think that's what New Year's is all about. It's not about getting drunk. It's not about gorging yourself with food. It was about family and friends getting together and sharing. Probably the best New Year I've had in a while.
Really?
Yep.
Well, there was only one thing missing.
Who's that?
Me.
You could have come. The door was open. I just didn't give you the address.
Well, I'm glad you had such a fabulous New Year, Johnny.
On yourself?
No, my plans had to change because of COVID.
Oh.
A friend of the Boston wrestling family came down with the illness, and it's probably for the best. I really didn't want to catch it.
Yeah. My nephew came down with it.
Oh, really?
The Omicron, yeah. He said it's like having a very, very, very bad cold.
It was brutal.
And made it through, thank you, God. And so now I guess his immune system's up around 85%.
Well, good.
But he's vaccinated, so that's the key. You know, people laugh at me, but vaccination and booster, it needs to be. I will say this, I think I got my booster, but I think that's the last needle they're going to put in me.
Why is that?
I just think I'm tired now.
You don't want any more boosters.
I think a lot of people are sitting back saying, you know what, enough's enough. Statistics, they've got a better handle on the statistics now, where before the numbers they were giving you is if Dan Marotti broke a leg and went into the hospital, automatically tested for COVID. So now you're a COVID patient. So the numbers were skewed. We've got a good handle on what's happening. They finally have some good research talking about this new strain, which is saying that, yeah, it's bad, but it's not as bad as the other. Doesn't mean we don't need to be careful, folks. Wear a mask. That's key. Wear a mask. Outside of that, you know, how many more shots can you put into your body? Because ultimately what's happening is, only my opinion, you're destroying your own immune system. When you allow a drug to overtake your immune system, it's just like Dan, he gets lazy and said, okay, Howard, you can do the show. And you don't want that. You want your body to rev up. You want your body to fight. I will say this, I don't know how many people read the news, but Japan is now testing a shot that hopefully will be released in 2024, one time, lifetime. End of story.
That's it.
That's it.
So
and that's what we need.
You don't think it's going to turn into the flu shot where you need it every year?
Once again, remember with the flu shot and with this COVID shots we're taking, the flu shot is only good for so many strains of flu. Doesn't mean you're not going to catch the flu.
Right.
And it's the same thing with the COVID shot. You know, you take it, and a lot of people said, well, I've got the magic shield. It's not going to touch me. No. The drug was approved so fast, so quickly, without thorough testing. Now they say is, okay, folks, you've got a better chance of surviving, and that's key. Excuse me. Then if you didn't take it, you can still get it. And I'll give you an example. A very dear friend of mine, I won't mention names or where he worked, 39 years old, had the COVID shots, caught COVID, went into the hospital and passed away 3 weeks ago. Wow. Had some complications. I'm not going to deny that. But I think we need to face the reality, and the reality of the situation is, should I get vaccinated or not? To you, yes, absolutely we need to do that. Should I get the booster? Absolutely you need to do that. Should I wear a mask? Yes. And for those of you out there that keep throwing in my face, I have a choice. My body, my choice. I have a choice too, and that's to survive just like you. So do me a favor. Don't have to get the injections. Just wear a mask. That will help a lot. Just wear a mask. Remember, we've only got 2 more months to go here before we hit the spring. January, February, winter, March.
Okay, yeah.
And then this thing should be beginning to die off. It's never going away. This is always going to be here. As a matter of fact, after what I'm reading, it's already been here. It was existing prior to. Not as serious, but it was there. So I think what we need to do now, common sense, begin to understand what we're dealing with, not panic, not get all crazy. I realize everybody's tired after 2 years. Some states are talking about lockdowns. Some states are talking about new mandates. New York, for example, you can't get anywhere without a card.
I've experienced that.
And people say to me, well, the card, that's not going to be good for anything. I'm going to make a prediction, and I hope I'm wrong. It's going to become the norm.
You
wait.
think it's a bad thing?
I think it's not a good thing.
Really?
Because it's discriminatory. Your choice, your body. So my thought is, if you're not going to get vaccinated, at least have a mask so that you can still partake. And the foolishness behind some of this, and probably I'm going to get nailed on this one, you go to a restaurant. Fauci and everybody else is saying, that's the worst place to go. But they go to restaurants, you're vaccinated and masked. Yet when they bring you your drink and they bring you your food, what do you do for 45 minutes?
Take it off.
Here you go. So, you know what? I think there's got to be some sensibility brought into play. The CDC is making all kinds of changes now. The CRP test, where they did the nasal thing, they're saying is not accurate because it can detect the flu as well as the COVID variant. They're now saying that it's 5 days instead of 10. They're meeting with some obstacles from employers. People care. People want to be safe. God bless our healthcare workers. God bless the police and fire and those first responders out there. God bless them for what they do. It's a tough job. But again, I think we've got to do this as a unified country, because Ben Franklin is right. United we stand, divided we fall. We're already divided. We've got to come back together as one. The president's got to do something about is that Vince?
No, Linda.
Oh, we talked to her?
No.
Oh, all right. But the president's got to do something about bringing some form of sensibility, some form of unity. You can't keep spending. You can't keep saying one thing and changing the other. The Democrats and the Republicans, please, brothers and sisters, let's get together. You're divided. You have your own agenda. The Democrats were for the working people. Now they're not anymore. They're headed towards socialism. The Republicans, it's a war. Why? Let's do what's best for the people. People can't buy food. People don't have heat. People don't have housing. Let's solve the issue. Let's begin to tackle the things we need to tackle. And again, no more needles. I'm done.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to Phil DeCesare about that, Johnny. One thing that certainly needed a booster shot was the WWE Day 1 pay-per-view on New Year's night. It was riddled by a week of turmoil within the company with the COVID. What's the word I'm thinking of now? COVID.
Omicron?
People exposed to the virus, having the virus, and it turned into a disaster, Johnny. The house shows for the biggest week of the year were a disaster. The pay-per-view itself changed at the last minute, and in the end of the day, they turned what was a pretty flat three-way main event for the Raw Championship into an interesting four-way once Bobby Lashley was added. But as much as I had been looking forward to seeing the altercation, Johnny, having to put Brock Lesnar into the mix due to Roman's exposure to the virus, I didn't want to see Lashley and Lesnar lock up the very first time in a five-way match that it will be all but forgettable in the end of the day.
I agree with you 100%. That was the worst choice.
What would you do with Brock at that point?
You know what?
You're going to have to pay him big money. Do you do
Lesnar
nothing with him?
Yeah. He's a businessman. He's a businessman. But with the onset of what's happening, and that the exposure that the superstars have, something's going to happen. You know that.
Just like the
See
lights.
that?
Let there be light,
Let
God.
there be light. That's what he said, and there it was. Took 7 days, but we got it in what, 2 minutes? But my whole thing is that match probably could have been switched instead of a five-way. Why not just make it a championship match?
What do you mean now?
One-on-one. just forget about it because,
Just scrap it.
okay, so what did you really get out of it?
Who
The-
should Big E have worked then?
You know what? Throw him in there again with Lashley. Anything, just to get it over. Look, I love Big E to death. There's a young man that had potential, has some potential. They're doing him a disservice by putting that strap on him. And I really mean
And
that.
then some.
Yes, I really mean that because this guy was great with the team he had. It doesn't mean he couldn't do individualism, but tell me, I'll be honest, this business is predicated on ticket sales. That's all I'm going to say. Merchandise sales. And it's not there. It's not there.
Not even a top 10 seller in merchandise.
No, what I would have done with that match was, if anything, if you're going to tease a Lashley Lesnar match for WrestleMania, whatever, I would have had Big E, Lashley going at it, Lashley going for the pin, and who comes in and busts it all up with the F5s. Lesnar knocks him silly, knocks out Big E, and grabs the belt and just grins that Brock Lesnar F-U grin. It would have left the door open for a big storyline.
So you think they should have kept it as the four-way match they had?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not a fan of four ways.
I'm not either. But that's what they promoted, at least.
Yeah,
you
you
should
know-
at least deliver what you advertise.
Okay.
Would you have added Lesnar to it? I'm going to guess
No, I would not. No, because now what you've done is you've exposed Lashley and Lesnar one-on-one. That's not the point. That was supposed to be held back. You're going to bake the cake. Don't tell people what the decorations are. Surprise them at the end. And that was not a good thing to do. Whoever made that decision, I guess it was Vince, to make sure it would go off. But all the critiques and reviews were not that good for that show, and that's all because of what happened with the COVID situation. Would you have been better off to say we're not going to do it and hope that your superstars will be okay and we can do it at a later date? That's not the answer either. I just think they needed to refine the show, work around what they had, and come up with something that was meaningful. Because in the end, who went over?
The Beast. All right, wrestling fans.
Is he the new champion?
He is the new champion.
There you go.
All right, wrestling fans, right now we're going to take a brief time out. We'll be back on the flip side to talk more. Day one. Stand by.
Tickets are on sale now for Soul Survivor 10, Back to the 80s, our live event and fan fest, Saturday, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Mass. Head on over to BostonWrestling.com now. The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, New York, Friday, January the 6th, 1984. In the opening contest, Invader number 2 beat John Callahan. Rene Goulet victorious over the Tonga Kid. WWF Tag Team Champion Tony Atlas defeated Iron Mike Sharp. Jose Luis Rivera with the win over Samula. S.D. Jones drew Mr. Fuji. The Masked Superstar beat Salvatore Bellomo. The Wild Samoans in Samula co-won a $15,000 battle royal, leading to a coin flip where Alpha would lose to Bob Backlund in the main event. If you were in Long Island Live, share your memories in the comment section below. Keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our world-renowned Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but We're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
Support Wrestling Insiders and keep wrestling legends working on eBay. At Survivor Series, it was champion versus champion as WWE champion Drew McIntyre battled Universal champion Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman. Get this 11x14 poster autographed by all three men. Limited edition, number 42 of only 50, with authentication hologram on the back of the poster itself. Comes with a mystery autographed 8x10 photo and an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas on Wrestling Insiders at your house. Get it now. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back. We continue to talk about WWE Day 1, WWE's first attempt at a pay-per-view on New Year's Day. I actually like the concept. I like that it was on a Saturday as opposed to a Sunday. I like the fact that it wasn't a 4-hour show, that it was kept in moderation, and even more so because they scrapped the Lesnar and Roman Reigns match. It was an even quicker show. I thought it was a nice, probably 2.5 hours or so. Not too long, not too short. I thought you had a couple of great tag team title matches. I thought the main event, while maybe not some of the guys I'd put in the main event, I thought it was short, sweet, explosive, action-packed, and to the point. I think it got over the fact that Lesnar never got the upper hand on Bobby Lashley in that match. I think the Big E experiment was a complete and utter disaster that went nowhere, and I'm glad it ended. It began right here in Boston, and it ended on the first day of 2022. Johnny, I pass the baton to you. Do you think the Big E championship run was a success by any stretch of the imagination?
No, I've already alluded to that fact. I think that was a big mistake. It hurt Big E. It hurt the promotion. And then the superstars he was working didn't do them any favors either. And it didn't put him over. I mean, it really didn't. I feel bad. But there again, let's see where he goes from here. The title's changed. So now what happens? Do we have champion versus champion?
I would like to see that. I would like to see a unification match at WrestleMania. I'd like to see, maybe to entice ticket sales and interest in the show, maybe the Rattlesnake be the referee as the only man that can keep law and order between Roman and Lesnar to make sure there is one unified, defined winner of both Raw and SmackDown championships, and that being Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think that would really give a boost to everything going on down in Texas, one man's opinion. But now that Kevin Owens is Daddy Warbucks with the big multi-year contract he signed for mucho dinero, would you have liked to have seen him perhaps as the champion?
Well, first let me say this. Pro wrestling, banking, attorney, it's a business.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Kevin Owens, for being smart enough to carve a deal that's taking care of you, buddy. That's what this is all about. Whether you like him, or I like him, or they like him, it's irrelevant. The fact of the matter is I've got a multi-million-dollar contract I negotiated. Because I'll tell you what, I think Owens was going to walk. I really do.
And I don't think anyone would have cared.
You may be right about that, because what they did to this young man is what they seem to do with a lot of talent that has potential. They take them, they build them to the top, and then they crash them.
Give me the Fiend for that money.
Give me
Bray
Wyatt
Strowman for that money.
Yeah, I was shocked when they let Bray Wyatt go. I was shocked. I'm still in shock. But hang on, that guy's going to be like a bubble. You never know where it's going to show up. And when it bursts, it's going to be right on.
I don't see spending that kind of money on an upper mid-card guy. One man's opinion. I know there are fans of him.
Well, he's not going to be. You know what? I think the world of Kevin Owens, and I really do. Great human being, great professional wrestler, understands the business. He'll always be a mid-carder.
Yeah.
Always be mid-card. So
Is he your WrestleMania main event? If not, I'm not throwing $2 or $3 mil a year at him.
no, and I why they did that number? Are they in a protect mode where all of a sudden, here we go, now you can't go, we get you locked in? Because you know what? I don't care how big the contract is. There's always the man in the front office that can say, Vince, I'm Khan. I think we need to let the high-paid guys go. And so, you know what that $2, $3, or $4 million is worth?
Not much.
Well, but that's what I do. I think like a business person. So now I've prevented you from going anywhere. I'll use you as long as I need to. And when you're not selling anymore and doing what I want done, you know, it's a cost-cutting factor. Bye. And you got a 90-day clause. By then, everybody's tired of you. Nobody wants you. So, you know, sometimes there's a method to business's madness.
Well, maybe he would have been a better fit in AEW for all we know. There's a lot of
I
friends
think so.
there. He might have been a happier guy. Might have got a better push.
Well, you know what? AEW is full of talent. They've got some good stuff. They get some bad stuff. Well, just like the WWE. You know, they get Punk. They get Danielson. They get Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega. They got some real good stars there. I think Owens would have been a good fit for a heel. When he was a heel, he was over.
I think he's a heel now.
But you know, one of the things I would have done with Kevin Owens, and people laugh at me, I would have made him the brother of the Fiend. Would have worked. Because they looked alike, they think alike, they act alike. You could have really made a good storyline
We
out
had
of
Bo Dallas.
That didn't work. Come on.
They never did anything with him, though.
Well, what's the whole problem? Are we not right back where we started from?
Yeah, but I wouldn't have made Kevin Owens his brother.
Oh, it would have been crazy. No.
Yeah, it would have been crazy.
No, from the swamps and the Ozarks. Are you kidding me?
Well, they could have kept him in the Ozarks.
Oh, man, it would have been
one man's
scary.
opinion.
Yeah, well, you would have fun going back and forth.
No,
and the fans right. Cena's crazy. Why don't you shut up? Because I can get people to answer, get people to say things. It's fun.
What about the King of Drip? Would you have considered putting the title on him?
The King of Drip?
Yes.
Who is that?
Seth Rollins. Or do you think that ship is kind of, it has sailed? Ever since the castration began at the end of WrestleMania 35, when he went from kicking Brock Lesnar's ass to being portrayed as the man's boyfriend. Then he became the Monday Night Messiah with no life and no personality. And now he's the King of Drip with an uninteresting life and personality.
Do you know what that tells me?
What?
You're not too far from the door.
And it's sad because once the bell rings and you can look past the boring and uninteresting and uncreative presentations of the character, the in-ring work is exceptional.
Not taking it away from him. Absolutely not taking it away from him. Another talent that's being misused. And like I say, when you go from here to Mr. Drip for coffee machines, you know what? Can't be far before Khan says, another high-priced talent we're going to have to cut to save money. Watch. This is crazy. I sit back sometimes and, you know, I talk to some friends, I talk to some people in the business, and it's almost like it's a wheel. Oh, it's your turn today, Dan. It's your turn, John. It's like, it makes no sense. Instead of saving the bodies they should, they're saving the bodies they shouldn't. People that are not drawing, people that are not going over. And I hope that somebody will grab hold of that writing team and start writing pro wrestling. That's unfortunate. And that's why these men and women are in the positions they're in.
What about Bobby Lashley? Would you like to have seen him regain the championship that he lost to Big E here in Boston back on September the 13th when we were out west at the Cauliflower Alley Club?
I worked several indie shows with Bobby Lashley. Ultimate professional gentleman. Let me tell you something. They don't come any finer. Yes, when he had that belt, he gave it credibility, the character, the credibility to the belt, the awesomeness that he created when he walked to that ring. That put asses in seats. That helped sell merchandise. Why in God's name you did what you did, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on.
Well, it was to add value to the Money in the Bank briefcase that everybody forgets who's even won it. They've had so many of them at this point.
It's Money in the Bank in a dented little metal briefcase that's become useless now. Somebody's got to think of a new gimmick. Something's got to come up because it's not working. Fans are saying, been there, done that, it's over, it's done. You know, it's not the big hype it used to be. I remember I used to wait for that to come when it was in Boston. John was involved in it, and I'm sitting there, edge, and I'm going, oh, wow, look at that. Oh, come on, you got to grab it, you got to grab it. And it meant something. Now it's just, okay.
I think another big problem is, much like the Royal Rumble, you don't need two. Like Elimination Chamber, which thankfully I think they've done away with as an annual tradition, is talk about overexposed. You don't even need it once a year, never mind two.
I agree.
Because when they've done two, it turns to number two. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
And it should be flushed down the toilet.
Whose idea was that, the Elimination Chamber? I know
Eric Bischoff presented it on TV as a character, but as far as who came up with the concept, I don't know. And in the beginning, it worked because at one point they didn't even do it once a year. And it was interesting.
Sometimes less is more.
Oh, yes.
They haven't learned that yet.
No. But again, a different story for a different time. But we have what we have. Brock Lesnar is the WWE World Champion. Goes into the Royal Rumble facing Bobby Lashley, a match I would have rather have seen saved for WrestleMania. One man's opinion. It would have been different. It would have been fresh. It would have been hot. It would have had AT&T Stadium in Dallas/Arlington, Texas, rocking on April 2nd or April 3rd, depending upon which night they put it on. You know, one night they're going to have the women main event because the women Royal Rumble champion is going to have to defend the title, and everybody's going to get up and leave like they do every year during the women's match.
Ladies,
when they put it on last.
Boycott this guy.
Because, Johnny,
they have talent. They can do it. They just won't let them.
Nobody cares.
I do.
Well,
I do.
Why is it that so many fans get up and leave?
You know what? It's probably at the end of the night.
Yeah.
People are tired. People just want to get out. Put them up a little bit. You know what? Don't knock them.
Well, if they're so good, why do people want to get up and leave?
I've seen, okay, so now let me twist the coin.
All right.
I've been in Boston. I've been in Florida. I've been in California. And I've watched people get up and leave during male matches.
When?
Go to the Garden. When they have a match in there that nobody wants to see. Yeah, I've seen it at WrestleMania too.
I can name one where I've seen it.
Well, there you go. I haven't been every single WrestleMania,
Jericho.
so I can't quote you on that. But the fact of the matter is, it is not just for females. Folks, pick on me, yell at me, scream at me. Very sexist. Not nice remarks. I think you've got to take it as it comes, and what you've got to learn to say is that I respect what they're doing, but apparently it's not doing what they want. Not knock them down. They can wrestle as good as the men.
No, they can't.
They can, and I'll put money on it.
I've had enough of it.
Oh, well.
It's a new year, I'm being honest. You know what? It is nowhere near the caliber or the quality of the wrestling as the men's. Now, is there an exception to every rule? Sure. Are there 6 to 8 ladies on that roster that can really go and give you some really good wrestling? Sure. The rest of them, bye-bye, c'est la vie, ciao. It's uninteresting. Nobody cares. They pushed Give Divas a Chance back in July of 2015. They brought up Becky. They brought up Sasha. They brought up... did I skip one, Howard? Oh, no, we didn't. We did take one break. Thank you. They gave everybody everything they wanted on the internet. 3.5 million people were watching that week, and now you have 50% of the audience that's vanished. And granted, that's not the only reason, because there's a lot of problems with WWE
Raw's
right now.
falling,
but
SmackDown's
there is
falling.
nothing that they have done that have helped the product. Nothing.
No, you're wrong.
Nothing. Well, tell me what.
Becky
Tell
Lynch-
me what
Becky-
business metric has improved since they started shoving these women down the fans' throats.
Ooh, I don't think they shoved anything down anybody's
You
throat.
don't? They went from being
No.
on once a week to being a
what?
third of the show.
They turned around, they picked up a little gimmick that said, let's do this with the Divas in 2015. Once again, I will say this and stand my ground. Everybody has to do what they're told. Male or female
What
in WWE.
business metric has improved since they started over pushing the women?
I don't think
Anything.
they're not over pushing anybody.
They sure are.
But you know what? There's been no real over improvement or push with some of the men. So you know
That's
what?
not my question.
No,
Since
my
they started to give
I'm
the
giving you
fans-
the answer.
All right, go
because
ahead.
if you're going to compare them to who they need to be compared to. The men. The men. You can't just say the women. No. The men have contributed just as much to the demise as the women, as the writing, as the people that say this is what you do and this is how you do it. I think there's a lot of young ladies involved in that, and I know I've been backstage that would love to let go and do more than they can, but they've been told you can't do that out there. So you know what? Don't go knocking these people. If they had the opportunity, because you
They're
got
given
tights on
plenty
me.
of opportunity.
Well, you know what?
Plenty of
what
opportunity.
What you're saying is not justified.
I
It's-
disagree, but that's your opinion.
But we can. We're friends. And friends can agree to disagree and still be friends.
I just want someone to say, Dan, business improved in this area because we've done this with the women.
You know what?
There is nothing.
I'll tell you
There
what.
is nothing. They sell tickets to that women's pay-per-view for $5 each.
I'll tell you what. Forget me. Forget the encyclopedia. And I'm being... So what I mean, we can
I
have
think
fun.
my name is Phil DeCesare.
Fans, you watching this show, please, how do you feel about what I say and what Dan says? I'd like to see your feedback. And if I'm wrong, next show, I'll apologize. But I'm telling you what, I'm 150% behind the women. I'm 150% behind the guys. It's all, and you got to be there to see it. When you're told to do what you do it. And that's what happens. You know what? I don't like some of the finishes with the men. I don't like some of the finishes, stupid finishes with the women. And I mean stupid.
Yeah.
But you know what? It ain't me that was, when I did the thing out there, I was said, gee, well, if I can't remember a word, I can, backfill it. Know what they said? You do it just as it's written. And that's the way it is, and that's good. That's good for business. Congratulations. Somebody took the time to write it and put it together so
I
it's
don't think
meaningful.
that's good for business at all, but that's another
But
story.
you know what?
And that doesn't go for the women. That goes for everybody.
No, I agree, because they don't allow a lot of people to ad-lib. I think when pro wrestling, Kowalski's era, Sammartino, you were allowed to grab that stick and say whatever you wanted to. Today, it's all scripted. And I think that hurts the business a lot. And they had managers. I think, look at the Weasel, Bobby Heenan. Look at the Grand Wizard, Captain Lou Albano, Slick. Look at these people that really got you agitated. Jimmy Hart. They're missing a lot in this business, and I think it needs to come back to pro wrestling. It's got to be something you can sit there and enjoy, and it's a story, it's a serial. What's going to happen next week? And that's how we used to leave them in the early days. Was like, holy God, Hulk Hogan's not getting up. Bruno Sammartino got his neck broken. Oh my God, we gotta castrate Larry Zbyszko. Those were the days. I think you go back to Brock Lesnar winning the title. I know I'm wrong because you're always right. I think that him and Lashley are going to go at it, and Reigns is going to interfere.
I can see that.
Yeah, it'll be a three-way. Yeah, right. Your WrestleMania.
I don't think it'll be a three-way at WrestleMania.
I hope not. I hope not. That's one thing I'm not a fan of, especially there. It just doesn't going to work. But Lesnar is signed on for how long?
I think it was 8 pay-per-view dates.
Coming pretty close now.
Well, he's done 1.
Yeah, he's coming pretty close. Watch, they'll eat him right up now.
Oh, wait a minute. No, didn't he? Did he do Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
So he's done 2. But you know him. He's always going to resign. He's got Paul Heyman whispering in his ear.
He's a great
He's
guy.
going to come up with the best deal possible at the best time possible. And good for him, because he actually is someone that draws and it generates a little bit of interest. You know, when Brock Lesnar's coming to town, something of interest is going to happen, because very rarely do they waste his appearances on fluff.
Nope.
Not to be confused with Fluffy Guerrero,
He's a great guy, Brock Lesnar.
who the Berzerker was flirting with.
Really?
Yes. Talk about something that was illegal for the ears and the eyes, but it happened nonetheless. But anyway, wrestling fans, something that isn't illegal for the ears or the eyes. We're going to take a brief time out. Be back to wrap up the show. Stand by.
Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling's Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, 3-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marotti.
MJ in the house.
Future WWE Hall of Famer, mind you. Let me tell you this.
I'm not in there yet.
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
But you will be.
Yeah, I will.
You know Sean wants to be the first 3-timer.
3-timer,
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go. Let me tell you, you enjoy the in-studio shoot interviews 4 times a week. It isn't cheap to put these productions together, folks. We need your
No,
help.
because they got to pay me.
Coronavirus has killed the nightlife in a lot of ways. We are night owls, Marty and I, but that's a different story for a different time. One way you can help is to check out the great merchandise we have in the Boston Wrestling eBay store. It is perfect for any wrestling man cave or any collection.
That's right. Check it out.
On October 28th, 2020, wrestling's scariest night was back with WWE NXT Halloween Havoc. This limited edition collector's autograph poster is number 12 of only 100 produced and is signed by all 9 superstars featured on the poster, including Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, Dexter Lumis, Cameron Grimes, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Gonzalez, and your Halloween Havoc host, Shotzi Blackheart. Comes with WWE authentication hologram on the back. You'll also receive an on-air thank you from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas and a bonus mystery autograph photo. Help keep wrestling legends working. Get this awesome collectible now. Wrestling fans, get ready for a weekend of the unpredictable as the Berzerker, John Nord, returns to MWF Studios in Melrose the weekend of Saturday, January the 22nd. Wrestling Insider Throwback Thursday tapings, live episodes, watch-alongs, cyber autograph signings, and more. Boston Wrestling Patreon fans can meet the Berzerker for free. For more information and mail order info, head on over to thebostonwrestling.com super site now. Don't miss the Berzerker, January 22nd.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insider. So much to talk about, so little time. Day 1 overall, I gave it a 5 out of 10. Johnny, I don't know if you had a chance to sit there from A to Z and see the whole show to give it a ranking. No?
No, I get bits and pieces. I'll be honest, bits and pieces. But I'll tell you what, I think this is where I agree with you. I wouldn't go any bigger than a 5.
I enjoyed both tag team title matches very much, as I noted. I don't know what it is, but whatever chemistry the New Day and the Usos have, it's always tag team magic. What a great way to open that show. It really got Hotlanta popping, hot. They were ready for it, and they got it.
Because both those young men, the teams, they love what they do, and they understand ring psychology. You read your crowd. Berzerker, everybody tell you the same thing. And this is what makes for a good match. You know, you can change your call in the ring. You read the crowd. You know, don't go, I remember doing an indie show, and when the tag team is out there, it was supposed to be like 14 minutes, 22 minutes. What the hell? Oh, we were over, the crowd was into us. No, they weren't. They're getting bored. Know when to end it. And these kids just, when I see Usos and New Day, it's magic. It really is magic.
It's too bad they didn't have more great tag teams like that right now. But even Randy Orton and Riddle him. And I thought they had a heck of a match. I think everybody's waiting for that moment when Randy Orton hits the RKO on Riddle to lead into WrestleMania.
It's coming.
I don't think
it's coming.
it takes I think even a blind man can see that, but I'll give WWE credit. At least they didn't rush it like they do a lot of their turns. At least they've let them build and build and build, and so when that turn does come, I think it'll have more value. One man's opinion.
Might be the reverse. Maybe Riddle will turn on him.
No, he's so goofy and stupid. I mean, they've made him out to be a moron.
Well, sometimes the moron becomes the genius.
No, I don't anticipate that happening, but maybe he knows the special skill that the genius Lanny Poffo knows.
I don't laugh on camera
and it's
very
not
often.
a riddle.
I don't laugh on camera very often, but
I
tell
got
you
you
what.
on that one.
Oh, you did. Thank you.
All right, Johnny, what about some great successes? We've been talking about a lot of things happening here in the world of Boston wrestling. Saturday night, April the 16th, Memorial Hall, Melrose, Massachusetts. Forget about Dudleyville. Boston wrestling's going back to Pigottville. When we go back to the 80s, Jake the Snake Roberts, Axe and Smash Demolition, the Berzerker. So many more to be added. VIP packages and tickets on sale now at bostonwrestling.com. A man that has competed for us at Memorial Hall before. What a week he has had, Johnny, at the big New Year's Evil presentation of WWE NXT this week. Carmelo Hayes, the former Christian Casanova, defeated Roderick Strong to become the unified North American / Cruiserweight champion. I guess they're finally doing away with the Cruiserweight championship, and it's just going to be the North American championship. But as I told Christian many times, once he got that body in the condition that it is in right now, the sky was going to be the limit for him. And since he's debuted on the NXT brand, I believe back in September, he's one of the faces of that promotion.
Yeah, he's a young man I worked with several times on the indie circuit, and I'll tell you what, the potential that young man had and has, sky's the limit. Sky is the limit.
Could you see him at his height really moving up the ranks on one of the WWE main brands?
Anything's possible.
I think it'll be a challenge. And you know I'm a supporter, but I think it's going to be a challenge for him.
Well, if it's not there, it'll be somewhere else.
Well, and then there's that too. But I mean, again, kudos to him.
Yes.
He has found nothing but success. I'm glad that he's found it. He said his life story is his to tell, but from what I know of it, I'm happy for his success. His little buddy Cito, I'm sure, is very proud of everything that he has done. And again, I hope he continues to do better and better and better and put more and more of that moolah in the bank. And I'm not talking about Lillian Ellison.
I just know why Bobby Ocean has been brought in there. I think Ocean's got the look, he's got the talent. There's got to be a reason.
Well, again, they're looking at more. Look at who they just brought in with their most recent signees. Every one of them came from a college sports background for the most
you're
part.
right. No, you're right.
They want big guys. They don't want any more of these 5'8"
size,
5'9" indie guys. They want as
giants.
The man that people don't think fondly of in the internet wrestling community. Tony Khan has said they want superstars. They don't want the independent guys. They feel perhaps maybe that's a reason why the business has declined so much over the past few years, is that the guys that look like superstars are gone. But then again, you could say, well, you had The Fiend, you had Braun Strowman, you had a lot of guys that fit the bill of the big monsters, or the bigger guys that you could put in WrestleMania main events, and they're no longer with you by choice. Your choice.
I agree with that, but you know what? The storylines they're writing fit the big guys now, not the small guys. Well, so it's unfortunate. The world is changing. Who knows? We could end up with a fourth promotion.
I sure hope not.
MWF, we're going
Oh,
up.
all right. Well, we'll take that one. But I mean, as far as these national promotions go, there's only so much talent.
No, there's only so much
AEW
furniture.
is signing, I think, too many people.
Yeah.
WWE, anytime they find a diamond in the rough that they think can add to one of the brands down the road, they're signing them up. Again, maybe not so much on what's out there in the independents right now, but Impact Wrestling is still signing people to full-time contracts. We're going to talk about Ring of Honor in a future episode, but even Major League Wrestling, NWA, there's places to work. Places to work, which isn't a bad thing.
Well, hang on. Everything, comes with a price, and just because you signed and inked a deal doesn't mean you're there for life, doesn't mean you're going to be there for 9 months or 10 months. So, the sad part about it is that most of these guys and ladies that get involved think that there's no end.
No, there's always an end. We
And
know
some
that.
people leave on their own. Others are asked to leave. Others make it to the big time and can't take it, or they just can't prove themselves in front of the crowd, so you're gone. So, make the most of what you have.
And before we go, Johnny, a man that made his Boston Wrestling MWF debut at our 20th anniversary, which we're going to be seeing shortly here in 2022, went at it with former MWF television champion, former Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling world champion Diehard Eddie Edwards, and was victorious. Cole Carter has signed with WWE. So it looks like his stint here in Boston Wrestling was shorter than anticipated, but big win for him at Memorial Hall in Melrose. And now he's going to the big time, baby. He's headed to the PC down in Orlando, Florida. And I say congratulations to him for his hard work, growing up on a very rural farm in a rural part of West Virginia, to the point where it was difficult to even get cell phone reception a lot of the time. And now look at the sky's the limit for the young man.
Well, let's take a look at Brock Lesnar, growing up a farm in Minnesota, working his ass off. He's still a draw. He's still a hell of a guy, a great human being. This young man, I think when he gets down there, he'll understand more about the wrestling business.
You think there's more to learn?
I learn
Well, there always is,
every
but we know
single
that.
day I learn.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that, it's one thing to believe in yourself. It's another thing to believe in your shit. And so what you've got to do is be able to separate the two. We'll see what happens. It'll be
Do
interesting.
you think it's wise for WWE to sign someone like Cole, who hasn't had a very long run in the King of Sports professional wrestling, but he's got a great look, he's got a great size, he's got likable personality. Do you think it's wise to take them away from the independents before they get that experience, to try and teach them the WWE way if they feel like they can be part of the WWE universe for a long time to come?
Well, here's what I think. I think that they're smart to do that because, like a potter, you have new clay. You can mold it to what you want, your ideas, your perspectives, what you expect in this business. And the good thing about the new clay is, once you try to mold it, if it doesn't work out, you throw the clay away and get a new piece.
Not much lost.
You
Small
throw it-
investment.
Yep, and you throw it away and you get a new piece. So, God bless everyone that signs. I think it's wonderful they have that opportunity. I was elated to have the opportunity.
Well, you main evented Raw. We don't know if he's going to get to that point.
Well, thank you. But I just think that the anticipation of going there, he's in for a change in lifestyle.
That's for sure.
A big change in lifestyle. He's going to be put to the ultimate test. So whether you pass or not is another story. You've got to go down there, be silent and listen, work hard, and produce. That will mean success. We had some people that signed, went down, and they lost because of that. They're back there now. They learned their lesson. So, you know what? Good luck. I had a chance to chat with him in the back. He was a decent young man. He had some things to say that made sense. But I think one of the things that you've got to be careful about when you get into this business is, kid, you ain't there yet.
Well, another one I have to say I'm proud of, Johnny. He made his debut refereeing on 205 Live. Probably would have been a week ago by the time this episode airs. He competed against, of all people, the Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, Vicente Rey Wasco of Los Angeles, California. He and his breasts signed on with WWE, not as a professional wrestler, but as a referee. They brought him down to Orlando, fine-tuned his skills with the stripes, with the zebra. And now he's down there making a full-time living, living the dream on 205 Live, and I'm sure you'll see more of him on NXT. And, knock on wood, on Raw or SmackDown as time progresses. A good human being, even if he came away on the short end of the stick when he competed against Mr. USA.
All I can say is this: referee's job is very, very important. That person can make or break the match. So congratulations. I think it's an important part of the business and well earned on his part.
Do you think there'll be a little jiggling when he goes down for the 3 count? Oh, I had to get that one in there. All right, wrestling fans, we had a lot of fun here on Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Friday. Of course, if you're watching during the premiere after SmackDown and Raw, leave your thoughts in the little premiere chat, otherwise in the comment section below. The Super Chat button is always on to help us keep the lights on, and as you can tell, to kick off 2022. The lights have had a mind of their own, almost like the booking in certain wrestling organizations. But for John Cena Sr., I'm Dan Marotti. We got a big month headed your way, folks. As we noted, the Berzerker John Nord returns the weekend of Saturday, January the 22nd. Then Royal Rumble weekend, batten down the hatches, making his in-studio debut, Dirty Dutch Mantel, a.k.a. Zeb Coulter. We're going to be having a lot of fun. Wrestling Insider tapings, live episodes, watch-alongs, cyber autograph signings, and so much more. For John Cena Sr., I'm Dan Marotti. We'll see you next week on Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays. Good night.
Thank you for joining us. Please give the video a big thumbs up, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel to enjoy more great content. Don't forget, you can help keep wrestling legends working. Check out our eBay store and join the Boston Wrestling family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling so we can produce more in-depth shoot interviews.